days to light days.
Mm.
Himothy, him be scoring. Him almost broke his tailbone, but came back and dropped 50. We got to talk about Hemi buckets and these Miami Heat. Now I'm gonna get mine out the way because I know you got a lot to say. So I'm gonna start this one off. When we pick the teams that who are gonna win a game in these series, the first thing I always said was, well, Miami can't score. They got to find some type of scoring because they don't shoot threes. You know, all season, Dave's been talking about, he's like, well, you know, Pat Riley's been asleep. But when Jimmy gets in the playoffs, he can turn into Jimmy buckets. But I just don't see it right now. I'm hoping it happens. Look, man, Giannis, this was the wrong time to pull a Kawhi Leonard. I mean, I know you failed, your back got hurt, but you should have went out there. You should have got iced up, son, and did something because now you're down 3-1 to the Miami Heat with playoff Jimmy and Udonis Haslem over there. You understand?
Bruh.
And the only reason I say Haslem is because somebody got to be an assistant coach to Spo, and he's showing it. Tyler Hero went down. We didn't think you all could shoot anymore. He dropped 56 points.
Mm.
Now the question is, will the Bucks overcome the 3-1 deficit to Miami? I'm gonna just flat out say it could happen, but I don't see it happening. The momentum's with Miami. Dave, take it away. I know it's no joke, but I'm getting my jokes off, Vaughn.
Joe, you gotta hit that turn me up for me one more time.
Turn me up.
Jimmy buckets. My goodness. Tell them not to doubt you again, Jimmy. Tell them not to doubt you. Tell them to never compare you to Julius Randle ever again. It is not to happen ever again. Don't compare him. It is. What has Julius Randle done in the playoffs in this fashion? Devin, you said, has Jimmy ever scored a 50-piece? He put a 50-piece in a game when it mattered. 56 point, 19 to 28 from the field. This is Jimmy Bucket's house now. Jimmy is the man in Miami. Now, I will say this. I did doubt my own team, but I had my reasons. I had my reasons. This team has been so inconsistent all year long. But Jimmy always shows up in the playoffs. He always shows up in the playoffs. Jimmy does whatever he needs to do when it comes to this point. And Jimmy did exactly what he needed to do. Joe has said it. Jimmy might have to score 60. Hey, he was 4 points shy. He put up 56. And that's because he got no scoring from no one else for real. Now, I will say this. Caleb Martin did step up. He had 10 points in the fourth quarter. Jimmy had 21 in the fourth. But the question was about, will the Bucks come back and win the series? So let me answer this first before I go ahead and continue about this. So there's a stat out there about the Bucks being down 3-1. The Bucks are 0-10 in the series when trailing 3-1. Last time they trailed 3-1 was against this same Miami Heat team in the bubble in 2020. And what happened? That was a gentleman's sweep. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, but I did, like I said yesterday on the show, I did predict us to win the series in 6 games. It could be 5, but right now I'm still going to stick with 6. I think the Bucks will answer this and go back home and win game 5, and we win back home in game 6. Now let me talk about my boy Jimmy. So I'm going to say no, the Bucks don't come back and win the series. I don't see that happen. Not saying that they're not capable of it. I just don't see it. This is the number 1 team in the NBA, not just in the East. This is the number 1 team in the NBA. Have the best record out of every NBA team. Now, Joe has argued, he's not on the show, but he has argued that the Celtics are the best team in the NBA. This may be proving his point. Because we have, like everyone knows, and I've said this myself, we know that Jimmy Butler is not a superstar, especially when it comes to the regular season. But playoff Jimmy It's no mystery. It's not a myth. He shows up in the playoffs when it counts. And he's been consistent this year. That's one thing that a lot of people were questioning about Jimmy was about him being consistent. He averages the most points in the playoffs right now. He's averaging about 37 points in the playoffs right now. That is 14 points more than his best regular season average. So he shows up when it matters. Now, I do think that he coached through the regular season to be able to play in the playoffs. I would love for him to play more, like play like this in the regular season. But hey, if you're going to do this in the playoffs every single year, I'll take it. This is what Pat Riley and Coach Spo brought him to Miami for because they know what he's capable of in the playoffs. He bought this out. Jimmy knows exactly what he can do. So, and he's a non-superstar. No one considers him a superstar, so they expect him to be a superstar, even though he's not. So Jimmy does exactly what he's supposed to do. Jimmy Butler also, I think he's one of the first people to, if not the first person to score 22 points in the first quarter and to score 21 in the fourth quarter. That's a way. That's how you finish a game. You started well and you ended well. Jimmy Butler just did everything he needed to do. Yeah, somebody did.
Jimmy Butler sent it.
Somebody did send me Jimmy that rant. Look, hey, I was rightfully upset because no one else was doing anything. And Bam, they're saying that he's playing with a hamstring right now, but everybody's playing hurt right now. John Morant is playing with a broken hand right now.
Giannis' back still hurt.
Giannis still has a bad back. Jimmy's playing with bad glutes.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Fox is playing with an injured finger.
Fracture, yep.
You got to go out there and play. You got to be aggressive somehow, some way. You're the only other person on the team that's been a superstar in the last few years. I mean, not in a superstar, but been an all-star in the last few years. Not Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's been an all-star weekend, but he's not an all-star. Duncan Robinson was in an all-star weekend, but he's not been an all-star.
Kevin Love been an all-star before? I think he was, right?
That was way before Jimmy got to Miami. I'm talking about once right Jimmy got. You're the only other all-star on the team for real right now. At this point in your career, you're the only person that has been an all-star. So you got to do more. And you were all-star this year.
Oh, look. Jimmy said this after the game. He said, we knew what we were capable of, even if nobody outside the building, outside of this roster, outside of this organization believed in us. And when he said that quote, I was like, it was me. I didn't believe. Mm-hmm. But the proof's in the tape. When it's time to show up, Jimmy Butler does show up. To add to what you said about the comparison, no one was comparing Julius Randle to Jimmy Butler now. They were saying when he was with the Bulls. We know what he is now.
Oh, no. Because Vaughn has said this on the show that Julius Randle is better than him because he's more box office. That's exactly what he said on the show. Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what he said when we were on the show and we had that argument. He said that Julius Randle was better than Jimmy Butler. That's what he said.
Stop the cap.
I was more so talking about where the birth of the debate came from. But hey, Vaughn, if you say that,
I know where it started from. But that's what Vaughn said on the show.
Vaughn, if you said that, you always, it's an open door policy here. You're gonna see him in the comments in just a second. We know it.
If you didn't say that, I will rightfully apologize but from what I remember, that's what you said on the show. And then Joe, can you pull up that last slide of Jimmy Butler? I don't think I touched on that one yet. But he outscored the Bucks in the final 8 minutes of the game by himself. 21 points. He scored. That's just in the final 8 minutes. That's all he scored the entire quarter. He scored 21 points, and that was all in the final 8 minutes. He had help. As a team, we scored 41 points in the fourth quarter. Caleb Martin had 10. So 31 points were just from two players. All I'm saying is, Miami, thank you. Let's get this win. And either game 5 or game 6, so that's going to the next round, and we'll play the Knicks.
Hey, that's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one for the chat. All this going back and forth. Hey, now if these two meet up, we finally get to see them one-on-one. Well, not one-on-one, but the consistency from Julius Randle has to show up, and the consistency from Jimmy Butler has to show up. Well, continue to show up.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.